Salem, Friday, secrets, shattered hopes, and uneasy truces is gathering over town. And by the time the church bells chime midnight on May 2nd, no household will be spared its echo. 1. Johnny's crisis of conscience. For weeks Johnny has paced the marble floors of the DeMera mansion, wringing his hands and rehearsing speeches in every mirror he could find. He yearned to believe he was prepared for fatherhood, tried to imagine lullabies replacing late-night movies and diapers replacing business deals. Yet as dawn creeps over Salem on this fateful Friday, his heart sinks. Nothing inside him feels ready. The shadow of his own father, E.J., looms large, brilliant, demanding, unpredictable. And Johnny cannot convince himself that he would fare any better. The confession. In a quiet corner of Sweet Bits Bakery with cinnamon still hanging in the air, Johnny finally tells Chanel the truth. His words tumble out in a rush. "I'm sorry. I thought I could do it, but I can't." The adoption papers she signed only yesterday, papers that were supposed to secure a bright future for a long-awaited child, now feel like a cruel trick. Chanel's shoulders sag as though the weight of the entire building has settled upon her. There's no anger in her eyes. Only disbelief, followed by a hollow ache so deep it renders her speechless. The clatter of measuring spoons in the kitchen suddenly sounds like distant thunder. 2. Tate, Sophia, and the fallout of a failed dream. Across town, news travels at the speed of gossip. Tate and Sophia hear about Johnny's reversal before lunchtime, and the disappointment hits them like a runaway freight train. They, too, had signed on the dotted line, ready to hand their precious baby to what they believed was a stable, loving couple. Now they are left stranded in emotional no-man's land. A fragile infant in their arms and no clear road ahead. Anger sparks first. Tate's frustration is raw and loud. In the Horton Town Square, he corners Johnny, voice cracking, demanding to know how anyone could play with a child's life so carelessly. Passers-by slow their steps, pretending to study store windows while eavesdropping shamelessly. Johnny offers no defense beyond, "I'm sorry," a phrase that seems impossibly small in the face of shattered expectations. A mother's interference. Hovering nearby is Amy, Sophia's formidable mother, whose opinion of Johnny and Chanel was lukewarm from the start. She seizes upon the collapse as proof she was right. If they can't keep a promise for 24 hours, how could they raise a baby for 24 years? Sophia, trembling yet resolute, finally tells her mother to stop. The words are soft, but in them is the steel of a young woman on the brink of adulthood. "On my birthday, I'll be 18. The next signature the agency needs will be mine, only mine." 3. Sophia's stand and the edge of independence. That looming birthday has become a border between childhood and sovereignty. With every hour that passes, Sophia's patience with Amy erodes. She recalls the prenatal appointments Amy never missed, the blankets Amy knitted, the late-night cups of mint tea meant to calm a racing mind. Gratitude has not faded, yet it can no longer outweigh the need for self-determination. When she voices this, Amy's face contorts, half wounded, half indignant, but underneath is unmistakable fear, a parent realizing she may soon have no legal power to protect, control, or even guide. Sophia's decision is not impulsive. She details her plan with the precision of a future medical student. Finish high school, enroll in pre-med courses, and, crucially, choose adoptive parents who match her child's needs, not her mother's checklist. The conversation ends with unexpected gentleness. Amy, sensing the tide has turned, nods once and whispers, "We'll talk again tomorrow." For Tate's dilemma, youth versus responsibility. Tate thought fatherhood was a looming storm he could outrun. Now that the clouds have cracked open, he realizes the rain was always inevitable. Back at the Kiriakis estate, he shuts himself in his room, staring at sports trophies that suddenly look childish. For a fleeting second, he imagines handing the baby back to the agency and reclaiming his carefree life. But every time the idea surfaces, he sees Sophia's tired smile and hears the soft coo of their son. The notion dissolves. In frustration, he pounds a fist against the desk, then swears never to raise a hand in anger again, remembering how tiny fingers had curled around his own only hours before. 5. Belle, Marlena, and the echoes of past heartaches. Amid the turmoil, Belle receives grim updates about Beau and John's ongoing health struggles. Memories of hospital corridors and blinking monitors flood back, threatening to drag her under. Marlena, ever the steadfast mother, folds Belle into an embrace and reminds her that grief and hope can share the same heart. Enter EJ. Convalescing from his recent illness, EJ arrives with a bouquet and an apology for every slight he can recall. He swears he is ready to be a better man, a steadier partner, a gentler father. Belle wants to believe him. She thinks of their early days when charm and ambition felt like twin pillars strong enough to hold anything. Marlena watches, wary. She recalls times when EJ's velvet promises concealed iron schemes and warns Belle, softly but firmly, to keep her eyes open. 6. Behind closed doors. EJ's better man. Agenda no demeravow is ever simple. And true to form, EJ wastes no time proving the point. The moment Belle leaves to fetch coffee, he summons his fiercely loyal assistant, Rita. Her reputation in town is a wary mix of respect and suspicion. Efficient, discreet, capable of acquiring anything from a legal brief to a stun gun without a single eyebrow raised. EJ speaks in a hush so low even the paneled walls scarcely catch a syllable. All we know is this. He slides a small memory card across the desk, taps it once, and says, "We can't afford loose ends." Rita's eyes gleam. Whether the task involves safeguarding Johnny from scandal, pulling off an extravagant bachelor party auction, or smoothing EJ's quiet bid to purchase the local hospital, she asks no questions. One nod, one curt, "Consider it done," and she melts back into the shadows. 7. Sarah's heavy secret and Xander's bruised trust. While one marriage teeters, another strains under unspoken truths. Sarah has worn a brave smile ever since she wed Xander, but guilt gnaws at her like moths in a wardrobe. She knew Philip's infamous suicide letter was fake long before the forgery came to light and said nothing. Now Philip lies beaten in a hospital bed, Xander believes himself the victim of yet another betrayal, and Sarah is terrified that if she confesses her early knowledge, the fragile happiness they built will shatter. The Council of the Guilty. Over dinner, Sarah urges Xander to forgive the latest liar in his life. Everyone makes mistakes. Love, what matters is what we do next. Xander narrows his eyes. He senses a missing piece, yet he loves Sarah beyond words and clings to her advice like a lifeline. 8. Threads converging. The night ahead as twilight drapes over Salem, the day's separate dramas begin to weave together. Chanel, devastated but not defeated, locks the bakery for the night and whispers to herself that she will fight for the family she imagined, even if she must raise the child alone. Johnny stands outside the closed door for several minutes, palm flat against the wood, wishing courage could turn back clocks. Tate and Sophia cradle their son in the nursery of the Kiriaki's guest wing, singing in hushed voices because they do not yet know tomorrow's script. Amy sits at the kitchen table, legal documents spread before her, realizing that love sometimes means surrender. Belle rereads a text from EJ promising he will meet her at the hospital in the morning. She types "I believe you," then deletes the words, unsure. Marlena shines the porch light and waits for her daughter's car, heart heavy with the knowledge that warnings only go so far. Sarah watches Xander sleep, tears slipping silently onto her pillow, and vows that tomorrow she will tell him everything unless fear wins again. Rita drives toward a warehouse on the edge of town, the memory card burning a hole in her purse, already planning how to erase whatever secrets it contains. 9. What tomorrow may bring. The clock strikes midnight. Somewhere a baby cries. Somewhere a phone vibrates with news that will not wait. And somewhere, in a dimly lit study lined with portraits of ancestors who mastered the art of power, EJ allows himself a thin smile. A better man, yes, he muses, but only on my terms. If Friday has taught Salem anything, it is that every vow, every document, every whispered plan can unravel in a single afternoon. But it has also taught that even in the rubble of broken dreams, people can choose kindness, courage, and, above all, hope. The path forward will not be easy. Adoptions must be renegotiated, marriages must be rebuilt, and trust must be earned one fragile promise at a time. Yet for all the heartbreak etched into the single day, the sun will rise on Saturday morning, casting new light on old secrets and giving every soul in Salem one more chance to get it right. Stay tuned, dear readers. The next chapter is already stirring beneath the surface, and Salem rarely sleeps for long.